competition. I hope the sound is now fixed.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Is the sound good?
Yeah, it's now much better. Yeah. I feel so good when
Okay.
I get some likes.
Yeah, it sounds much better.
Alright. Okay, so introduce yourself. Who is
All right.
Chiku?
Yes. My name is Chiku Nyangwa. I am 22 years old. I am a recent graduate from the University
Mm-hmm.
of South Australia. I studied finance. Like you mentioned, I work as a financial officer right now. And yeah,
Yes,
I'm from Malawi. I came to Australia in 2015
yes,
to start school. So now I am
yes.
planning on settling here in Australia. Of course, I want to go home at some point in time, but for now, I think I'm going to settle in
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah.
Okay.
And some of my hobbies, I serve a lot. I'm in praise and worship. I'm also a youth leader. So yeah, church is probably one of my hobbies. And every time I say that, people think it sounds strange, but I really, really do enjoy serving in the house of God. And I also love reading and I love music. So those are probably the things I do when I'm not working.
Okay, that's really good. So, for those who don't know, Chiku, she's also starting to pursue her dream passion, that is to start blogging, and she's the co-founder of ROG. ROG stands for Riches of Grace, which was inspired by one of the chapters in the Bible, Ephesians. So, why did you call it ROG? What is ROG? Tell us about it.
So ROG stands for Riches of His Grace, and it comes from Ephesians 2, verse 8. Um, and
Yes.
basically, I came across this scripture last year. I got saved last year, and I came across the scripture, and there was something that was resonating with my spirit. I couldn't understand what it was because it's a very short
Yes.
scripture about, us knowing ourselves through the riches of his grace. It's a very, very small scripture, but there was something about it that when I
Yes.
read it, something inside me was just like, what if I called my blog that? Because, my life story is very long. There's not even enough time
Yes.
to talk about it all. But I just
Yes.
have such a big testimony of the things God has done in my life. And I truly believe
Yes.
that there are a lot of people, especially young people out there like me, who benefit from the riches of His grace. Because even though we have nothing to
Amen.
offer Him,
Mhm.
He offers us everything. So I think
Yes.
that's why I called it Riches of His Grace. And yeah, it was a vision that I had since last year, but because I
Yes.
was in uni, I never found the time to
Yes.
actually pursue it. So I thought, okay, let me just wait until I've graduated. So after I graduated, I was still putting it off.
Yes.
And then, so I finished uni last year in November and I was unemployed for an entire year. So during that year, you can imagine after you finish uni, you're so excited, and then that excitement dies because you can't find a job. So I went through a very, very dark time in my life where I just needed, and in order for me to have hope, I wanted to give someone else hope because sometimes the best way to get through things
Yes.
is to help other people, to pour into other people. So for me, when I
Yes.
started Riches of His Grace, that's why I started it because I wanted to share my story with people. I wanted to share my testimony. So it's about me sharing my story, other people sharing their stories. It's about fashion. It's about finance. It's just about people coming on this journey of life with me. Pretty much, that's what ROG is about.
That's really good. I really love it. When I saw it on Snapchat a few days ago, last week, or
Ah,
when a few months ago, it's just so beautiful. ROG, Riches of His Grace. It's so
yes.
beautiful. What were you thinking when this name came? Like, I need to call it Riches of His Grace. What were you doing?
What was I thinking when I came up with the name?
Know you said it came from Ephesians 2, but
Yeah.
where how did you how did you come up with it? Like, same with
Um.
me.
Yes.
Apostle Destiny. within your own uniqueness. I was, I just spoke to God and I'm like, I need something that can relate like a motto. So how? Because it flows
Yeah.
so good, which is great. It's so beautiful.
It does. I can't take all the credit because I have a friend of mine who helped
Yeah,
me set up the website. So at first I was just gonna call it
yeah,
Riches of His Grace. I wasn't gonna call it ROG. So I was telling him and I
yeah,
said, "Oh, I want my blog to be Riches of His Grace." So he said, "You mean ROG?" And I said, "No, Riches of His Grace." And he was like, "Yeah,
yeah,
ROG." And then in my head, I was like, ROG. That actually, it has a nice ring to it. I won't lie. I can't take all the, so I can't take all the credit. I just came up
yeah.
with the Riches of His Grace part, but the ROG definitely, it's an easy thing to remember in your head when you think of ROG.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
So when you established this, what challenges or the FKE force did you encounter?
So I think probably the first challenge that you face if you're starting a blog is yourself. You are probably your biggest
Yeah,
challenge because you begin to think who's